the video for Advanced Algebra 1, and we have some story problems that we're working on in this section, and so I'm going to go through that worksheet, and I'm going to set up some of the problems. I'm not going to solve them. The setup is the hard part. So, number 1 here, the sum of two numbers is 25 and their difference is 7. So my two equations, x plus y equals 25, x minus y equals 7. And then you can see how you would solve that. This next one, I can't tell if that's focused. I don't know if that's better, but the second one is what I call the type where I just read the words and write an equation. Okay, so I'm going to buy 3 pens plus 2 notebooks, and it's going to cost $8.25. Okay, so I just read the words and wrote the equation. Somebody else is going to buy 2 pens and 3 notebooks, and it's going to cost $8. And then how much would 2 pens and 2 notebooks cost? I don't know. I would solve this for how much does a pen cost, how much does a notebook cost, and then I would figure out the answer to how much would 2 pens and 2 notebooks cost. I'd definitely use, probably elimination to solve that. I have to multiply one of those by, to get like a positive 6 and a negative 6. The number 3, where'd it go? There it is. Number 3 is what I call a number value total problem. And when we do a number value total problem, we need a number equation, and that would pertain to how many. How many tickets do I have? How many raisins do I have? How many liters of whatever do I have? Okay, I need a number equation, and then I need a value equation. And the value equation is, what is it worth? If the number equation is nickels and dimes and there's 30 of them, what's a nickel worth? What's a dime worth? And that's my value equation. Here, this particular one is tickets to a show. And student tickets cost so much, adult tickets cost so much, and then their worth, how much money did they take in? So the number equation, they sold 805 tickets. So the student tickets plus the adult tickets is 805. That's how many tickets they sold. That's the number equation. The number of tickets, the number of whatever. The value equation, student tickets cost $3 and adult tickets cost $4. And the amount of money was $17.40. And there you go. There's your two equations. And you could use this, you could do substitution with this because you have coefficients that are 1, but it'd also be very easy to just multiply this by -3 and figure it out. And then answer the question, how many of each type were sold. Okay. Joe Tyson is the place kicker for his college football team. And last season, he kicked 38 times and never missed. Each field goal scored 3 points, and each point after touchdown scored 1 point. So that means that field goals plus point after attempts is 38, because that's the number of times he kicked the football. Okay, what is a field goal worth? A field goal is worth 3. A point after attempt is worth 1, and he scored a total of 70 points for his team. And so there you go. Here's my number equation. Here's my value equation. Here's how many he did. This is what they're worth and how many points he scored. Okay. Next one, number 5, also a number value total problem. You have nickels and dimes, and there's 50 of them. So nickels plus dimes is 50. That's my number equation. How many are there? And it's not going to be 25 and 25. Okay. If it were that easy, we wouldn't have to do anything. So number of nickels plus number of dimes is 50. And then its worth, So here comes the value equation. What is a nickel worth? A nickel's worth 5. 5n plus 10d, and I usually don't use decimal points on these problems, equals 415. That's how much money I have. If I don't use decimal points, like if I don't put 0.05 and 0.10, if I did that, I would make this 4.15. And it's just easier to not have the decimals. So I do it this way. Okay. Another number value total problem. Sally, she has some dimes and quarters, and she has 100 of them. So the number equation, dimes plus quarters, is 100. And what are they worth? What's a dime worth? Dime is worth 10 cents. Quarter is worth 25 cents. And she has $21.40. There's my number equation. There's my value equation. How many I have? What is it worth? Okay. And then the length of a rectangle is 5 more. Let's see, let me get that in the frame. The length of a rectangle is 5 more than twice the width. So 2 ways to do this. What we're doing is we're working on, solving systems of linear equations. So we write 2 equations and we solve the equations and we move on. Some of the problems actually would be easier to solve not using 2 equations, and this is an example of that. I would rather just say the width is W and the length is 2W plus 5, because it says the length is 5 more than, that's my plus 5, twice the width, that's my 2W, and the perimeter is 130. So W plus 2W plus 5 plus 2W plus 5 is 130. Okay, because that's what I would add together for the perimeter. I would add each side in there. So I wouldn't do 2 variables, 2 equations there. I would do just what I did. Okay. Okay, we're back to adult tickets and student tickets. And adult tickets cost $4 and student tickets cost $2. And there were 920 tickets sold, and they were worth $2,446. Okay, so my number equation, adult tickets plus student tickets, is 920. And then an adult ticket is worth $4. So 4A plus a student ticket is worth $2. So 2T equals 2,446. And there you go, your 2 equations. And again, because these coefficients are 1, you could use substitution, but it's also very easy to just multiply this by -2 and add it to this one and solve it that way. Okay, I prefer elimination over substitution. If I had set number 7 up with 2 variables, I would have definitely used substitution because of how it would have gotten set up. But because I didn't set it up with 2 variables, it's easier to do without that. Anyway, this is from an old algebra book, and it's always been one of my favorite problems, so over the years I've hung on to it. And since my uncle's farm appeared to be overrun with chickens and dogs, I asked how many of each he had. Being a puzzler as well as a farmer, my uncle replied that his dogs and chickens had a total of 148 legs and 60 heads. Okay, how many dogs and how many chickens does my uncle have? Well, what they're doing is they're giving me a number equation, like how many do I have? That would be for the number of heads, right? Chickens plus dogs, there's 60 heads. Then I need the value equation. The value equation is how many legs does a chicken have? A chicken has 2 legs. A dog has 4 legs. and there were a total of 148 legs in the yard. So there it is. Solve those simultaneously, and all is good. Okay, so just some help setting those up. If you need help setting those up, and you can solve those on your own. And that is all I have about that.